you're just never going to be alone ever again. It's definitely hard work, and it is a job in itself, and sometimes I forget to bath and brush my teeth. Oh, hey there. Hey, how you doing? You can tell I'm feeling this hair. Honestly, let me even move back so you can just So this video today is literally, I have an announcement to make. And no, I'm not pregnant, but yes, I'm sure you've already guessed it, but the title has like basically given it away. I have gone back to work. Oh my gosh, guys. So this is gonna be a two-part series in which I explain, firstly, what my time at home for the past 18 months has been like as a stay-at-home mom, my experience. So that's what I'm going to be covering in this topic today. And then in my next video, which I'll be releasing next week, is basically part two, what it's really been like going back to work. I work part-time, so it's the like, I don't want to call it a struggle, but it's the working mom life struggle basically. Finally, I get to tell you guys. I've been wanting to tell you for so long. It's been like, at the time of filming this video, it's literally been about, this is week 7, I've been back to work. So y'all didn't know, I have still been doing mums and tea, holding it down like a boss, which is basically what I was aiming for. Sorry, I think someone must be talking about me because my ear is proper itchy. Anyway, yeah, I've been holding it down with mums and tea. I'm working part-time. I've been juggling everything like crazy. I've started this YouTube channel, and yeah, I'm just really excited to tell you about like my experiences and how I found everything. But yeah, I feel like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders, because I wanted to tell you guys on the page, on the gram, but I wanted to do it like a little bit differently. I didn't want to just be like, oh, you know, I've gone back to work. I wanted to make a big thing out of it and do a video, obviously, and just share my experiences. You know, there's only so much you can say on Instagram or do on Instagram through a post. I feel like I can be a lot more open and honest and real about my experience. So basically, it's 5 things that I want you to make sure you consider before you consider staying at home, you know, not going back to work. These are things I kind of knew, but living it is just very, very different. So yeah, let's get into it. So in this video, I just really wanted to keep it real, and let's talk about the stuff that no one tells you about staying at home. And don't for a second ever get it twisted. I loved staying at home, having the ability to raise my son the way that I wanted. We do lots of educational things, we do arts and crafts, we're always going out, we go play dates, we go to museums, we go out, like we explore, we're always playing outside. I do a lot like with my son, like I'm really invested into him. So with that aspect, it's been fantastic. Staying at home, what best thing I've ever done. But realistically, people just like to sugarcoat things and make it seem like this stay-at-home mum life is easy. It's not. I'll be completely honest with you, it really isn't. My first year went really, really quick. The first year, year 1, boom, it went very, very quickly. That's one thing about motherhood. I posted on my Instagram not too long ago, like the days are long but the years are short. Like literally, I blinked and Ezekiel was 1, and it was just such an amazing experience watching him grow every day, seeing his personality come out, seeing him, you know, come into himself. It was so fantastic. I wouldn't change that for the world. Being there for his first year or his first 18 months has been such a blessing. I've learned so much about him, about myself and everything. But you know, running mums and tea and all that I do, all the events and all the other services that I offer, you know, trying to keep busy, trying to make sure your days are filled. Well, I do anyway. That's the type of person I am. Like, I can't just sit and do nothing. I mean, in the beginning I did. Yeah, of course, like when you're at home and you're breastfeeding and it's new, like, yeah, I just stay at home and watch Netflix. But as soon as it was time, you know. It was just, yeah, it was a great experience. But I'm not gonna lie, this is point number 1 I will make is finances. My gosh, like, make sure you have really worked out your finances. If you want to stay at home, it is a very, very big commitment on yourself and your partner, if you have one, financially. Or even if you're a single parent, like, my gosh, it's raising a child is expensive enough as it is. You've got rent to pay, council tax. There's so much that you have to consider. All these little play dates add up, all these little subscriptions, Netflix, it all adds up. And trust me, when you are a stay-at-home mum, which means you are not working, unless you have a business or whatever that's very, very successful, girl, no money will be coming in. That's just the reality of it. Not having money is not a joke. It is actually not a joke. You want to be able to go here, go there, do this, do that, do basic things, and you have to think twice. Does my budget cover this? Am I close to my overdraft? Come on, I know my brother, Noir Excel. Obviously, you are king of finances, and if you haven't been to his events, yes, I'm gonna plug him right now. Make sure you do that. But honestly, it's no joke. Make sure that you have figured every little thing out and see if it actually makes sense to stay home financially, because it's a lot to deal with. You know, certain things like just wanting to go out with your friends, all of that, it becomes a bit of a drag. I won't lie. It becomes a bit long. So yeah, make sure you've got your finances in check, and if not, seek some help. Get another small little side little hustle, get a little business going, do something to at least ensure that there is some money coming in. I mean, thank God I had mums and tea, so I have my little events, I have my cake smashes, I had things to keep my head afloat. It's not all fun and games, you know, when things do dry out, and you do have dry seasons. And yeah, that's one thing to be mindful of. Point number 2. So of course I mentioned I love staying home with Ezekiel and seeing him grow, and everything's fantastic, but let me not lie, some days can drag. That's just the reality. Some days are just so long. Like, some days just, it is a lot. Like, if it's just you looking after baby all day, thank God, obviously, for things like mums and tea and other mummy groups and stuff you can go to kind of break up your day, and play dates and play groups and all of that good stuff. But like, it does get long. It does get long, especially as they grow. They become a bit more demanding of your time. It's hard to juggle business if you are running a business or anything like that. Juggle everything. You've got to go to play group. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. You've got to, you know, keep them engaged. You've got to just do so much, and sometimes it can just feel long. And you have to be ready for that. Some days you're just not gonna feel like, it's just in life. Some days you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and some days can just drag, and you kind of have to still put on a brave face for the child. You don't want to take your frustration out on the child. It's not fair on them and all of that. So just be mindful of that. Some of the days do roll into one. It can feel a bit repetitive, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, but just be aware. This is what is likely is going to happen. I did it for 1.5 years, more than that, just a little bit over that. I loved it. But by the time it was time for me to go back to work, I'd had enough. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's actually nothing wrong with that at all. So that's point number 2. Some of the days will drag. They'll roll into each other and all of that. So, you know, you've got to kind of have thick skin, have things that you're doing to keep you occupied and all of that good stuff. Point number 3, when you're a stay-at-home mum, is that it's a job in itself. Like, being at home, of course your child is your priority, but you are also your priority. Your house is your priority. So looking after the child is a job on its own. I know so many people that, you know, including myself, I'm not saying I know people that struggle. Girl, I found it hard to cook, clean, make sure Ezekiel's done everything he needs to do your to-do list, everything. It's very, very hard. People just think, oh, what's she even doing all day? Oh yeah, I'm running a business. Girl, don't get twisted. It gets very tough. It is a job in itself. You do feel tired at the end of the day, as if you've been working all day. People will sort of assume that, oh, she's not even up to much all day. No, my dear. You try and look after a baby for a whole day and do that every single day and tell me if it's an easy job. It is not. Raising a child is beautiful, but it's hard. I'm new to it. Ezekiel's new to it. We're all figuring it out at the end of the day. It's definitely hard work. And it is a job in itself. And sometimes I forget to bath and brush my teeth. Yeah. I have to be real. I have to keep it real. Because you're just tired or stressed out or you feel a bit down. It's life. Hashtag mum life. This brings me on to my next point, and that's point number 4, is that you are basically never alone. And when I say this, I mean it's very, very difficult to get me time because you're always with your child. Ezekiel's my handbag. He literally goes everywhere with me, but then where does that leave time for me? By the time, you know, it's the evening, you're tired, you want to sleep. To run a bath for yourself now becomes long. To do anything after after your child goes to bed is a myth. It's a myth. You're probably just gonna wanna crash out, eat some crap, and watch some reality TV, like Real Housewives of Atlanta, if you're like me. Yes, I like that show. Love and Hip Hop, anyone? Come on, I'm not the only one that watches this, come on. You actually have to schedule in me time. You're actually never alone, like, you're never alone. You have to be prepared for that, because you might have gone from having your own thing and then boom, you've got this baby that's always with you, and you have to be prepared for that. You're just never gonna be alone, ever again. And point number 5, that brings me to point number 5. You will have an employment gap. I guess this will sort of nicely roll me into part 2 of my video on going back to work and everything, and the whole process and how I found that. But you will have a gap in your CV, and there's not necessarily, I'm not saying, come on, I've got a HR background, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all, but just be mindful if you're taking longer than a year, year and a half, 2 years, 3, 4, that is a career gap. There will be a gap in your CV, and you have to make sure that you have explained that properly. If you're thinking of running your own business and you don't ever want to go back to work again, that's fine. But if you do want to go back into the working field, it's good to sort of keep in mind that, you know, keep yourself busy, keep your skills sort of fresh, go on any courses, do whatever you can at home in the time that you're off. You just have to be mindful in knowing that you've got a gap, and you have to sort of explain that gap. Being confident when you go back to work after being off for so long. It does take a toll on you, both professionally, emotionally, and everything else. And don't get me wrong, a lot of jobs out there are very, very family friendly, and they have some policies and things to sort of help you get back into work. There are returnships and loads of things you can do to get yourself ready. But just, you know, be mindful that that is going to happen. You will have a gap in your CV, which you'll have to explain. You'll have to get back into the working world if you want to go back, and just be ready for that. Another plug here, small little plug, My Bump Pay, a fantastic resource run by one of my friends, Toby. It's just a list of companies and their family friendly policies, maternity policies, that kind of thing. So that's always a good place to start if you're thinking of going back to work and don't even know what people are offering out there. Just wanted you to be aware of those facts. And that brings me to the end of this part of the video. My 5 things to kind of be aware of when you become a stay-at-home mum, and things that people don't necessarily talk about, tell you. I hope you have found this video interesting, informative. I hope that you will like, comment, share. Oh my god, why do I always go American when I say that? So bad. Right, I hope you like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already, and tell everyone about us, Mums and Tea, the YouTube channel. Yeah, I will see you in the next video.